Good morning. I was kidding with myself as I signed on that I'm using that new TikTok filter that shows what a face of 57-year-old woman looks like with no makeup after being up this morning and walking to Pilates. It's a crazy new filter. Try it. Look, it shows the wrinkles, it shows the rosiness, it shows the lack of lipstick. Ah, so funny how AI and all this artifice means being a real human being can be quite appealing. Look at me and all my imperfections. I revel in them. I embrace them because I am the sum of my own parts and I'm endeavoring to love them all. And I want you to as well. So good morning, everybody. Everybody, 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 everybody. Actually, I do want to put on some chapstick, so hold on, please. Operators are standing by. Okay, so there we go. So much better. Good morning, Sandy. Nice to see you. And I see Katie and Marcia. This is my Miss Jean of Romper Room portion of the show. I love it. Good morning. Happy Friday. Happy Friday of November. I don't know what it's like where you are, but OMFG, it is chilly now in Pennsylvania. It is dark out in the mornings. Oh my gosh, I left my house in the pitch dark to walk downtown to do my Pilates, because that's how I roll, because I realize I feel so much better when I move my body. Maybe you do too. Good morning, Robin. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning, Natalie. Maybe I need some more, said I lost connection. I think I've got connection. We got some people. There we go. Yes, Sandy, see, so we're Gen Xers. We know that it is the Romper Room portion of the show. And I see you, and she had like a little mirror that she was kind of looking at, but she was kind of looking at you. I don't quite remember it. All I know is I never remember hearing my name called. So there we go. So good morning, German Maid. Nice to see you. For folks who are just tuning in, hey, nice to meet you. My name is Beth. I am a decluttering life coach. I help you declutter your home and your life. The fun way, the fun Gen X, pop culture, casual, real person, not an AI bot. A bot, Johnny. Listen to me, I got bot. Okay, it's cold in New York, says somebody, PPMCI. Yeah. Okay. Now I'm freezing. Okay, I'm freezing. I'm kidding here. Just so you know, I'm kind of kidding. Welcome to technology. Technology is great when it works, and sometimes it doesn't. But good morning, everybody. As I like to say to my one-on-one clients, because right now, technically, you're my one-on-one client now because it's you and me, and there's a whole bunch of other people. But everything I mentioned today, I got this from a coach I took some training from, and I thought this was a really beneficial thing, is pretend that everything I say, even if I'm talking to somebody else, pretend I'm talking directly to you. So I say this to say if there's something specific that is jamming you up, that is a kind of a roadblock in front of your car, notice you're right here on a map. This is how I roll. I talk about things like road trips. You are right here at the beginning of the day, at the beginning of the weekend. You are here. Here's your car, revving to go. And it's heading ideally towards a destination you want. But is there some stuff? What's stuck? What's got you stuck? What's got you not even wanting to get in the driver's seat? What's got you in the driver's seat but not even wanting to turn on the ignition? Or maybe you're in there and the ignition's on and your gas is running, but then you don't even know where you're heading. Notice how interesting it can be when you think about your life like you in the driver's seat of a car and you being in a road trip. Totally takes the drama out of it. And you say, yeah, I don't even know where I'm going or where I'm heading, I'm not wicked excited about. So let's play with that, okay? I love to play with stuff. I like to experiment. To me, life's a great adventure, and life's a banquet. Most poor suckers are starving to death. One of my favorite auntie quotes. So here we are. You're telling your age? She never mentioned my name either. Interesting. Yeah, I have no qualms with the fact that I'm 57 years old. Yes, I'm a woman of menopausal age. I'm a Gen Xer. I'm happily married. I have no children. We used to have a dog. I've got short hair. I wear glasses. Look at me. Here's all the things. There we go. Blue Sky Nanny said, found me again. Okay, if you misplaced me, if you're just saying, oh, there you are, I forgot where I put you, follow my TikTok page, Destination Decluttered. Just go, pop out of this screen, go and like it. I think you can do that maybe from your end. I don't know what it looks like on your side when I do these TikTok lives. So follow me and you'll never lose me again. The other thing too, I'm going to offer, because I just think it's so cool, is I have a free mailing list. Now that is where you get notified of all the cool stuff that'll help you get decluttered. Everything from knowing in advance when my TikTok lives are going to be, knowing in advance when and if I'm going to do a pop-up TikTok live, so you can be ready for that. Attending free workshops that I do. I don't do them. I do them. I love having a flexible schedule so they're not routinized. There's nothing that bores me more than when something becomes mundane and it's just something that's exciting that's been turned into a routine. No, there's plenty of things you can routinize in your house, and I highly recommend you figure out what systems put things on autopilot. Don't put your joy on autopilot. That was a good one. Don't put your joy on autopilot because it will start to feel mundane. Delight in the differences, okay? Notice that. I love it. Lori Boudreau was talking about physical decluttering on your live this morning. Rock on. There we go. Never felt better. I probably felt better physically, but mentally and all the other ways, so much better. So I'm willing to put up with little aches and pains and things like that. So why am I here today? I'm here to help you. I am here to help you. And it's interesting. I'm seeing a little thing that says unstable connection. I'm going to choose to believe that it's working its way out because I'm looking and I'm attached to the Wi-Fi and I've got a pretty strong cell connection. TikTok, could you help me out here? What I want to offer is now for the next 54 minutes, 54 freaking minutes with a decluttering life coach talking to you. Put in the comments what is keeping you stuck and let me help you go from stuck to started in this one, in the road trip, Gen X, pop culture, fun, real person, human way that I do. Different connections, like, there's certain things that are under our control and there are certain things that aren't. And one of the things that is not under my control is when TikTok decides that I don't have a good connection or not. My connection, I don't believe, has changed. I am still on, and it's so funny. I'm going to be, we got the stuff is going, but I'm here for you. So, TikTok. I'm going to endeavor to pretend like we have a good connection, and what you hear, let's choose to believe this, okay? That you will hear what you are meant to hear today, okay? So we've got hoarding, we've got how to start with loved ones stuff when it all needs to be moved out of an apartment, we've got overwhelmed and don't know how to efficiently organize, okay? 3 is a magic number, attachment and overwhelm. I'm stuck on getting rid of clothes, emotional attachment, boop, boop, boop. Okay, it is, Lori, it is a green light connection, and then sometimes it's a green light, and then sometimes it goes to yellow, and then sometimes it goes to red, and it's back. It's like a traffic signal today. So we're going to roll with it. This is how I roll with it. I don't get flustered by that. So let's talk about a few of these things, okay? Notice this. First thing I want to start with, because it's always where we start, is overwhelm. If you are overwhelmed, because you don't know where to start, that you've got too much, you're overwhelmed with the amount of stuff that you have, you're overwhelmed with feeling attached and overwhelmed, you're stuck. It all starts with what I call the overwhelm. It is a feeling in your body. You're like, oh my God, I'm overwhelmed. Notice my body language. Oh my God, I'm so overwhelmed. You kind of look up into that, oh my gosh, it's just so big, I can't handle it. I used to have an inflatable globe, but it deflated, so it doesn't work, but I've got this one. It's like having the world above you, and you're like, oh my gosh, I've got so much. No. Here's what I offer. Look at it differently. Make yourself feel different first. Feeling happens in your brain, but also more so in your body. And if you're feeling overwhelmed, here's a tool for your toolkit. Let's build your toolkit so you can stop feeling overwhelmed and you can start doing the things that you know is going to make your life look and feel better. So how you stop the overwhelm? Every single time you recognize it. You say, hey, wait a minute. I'm starting to feel however overwhelmed feels with me, a little bit overwhelmed, a little bit, how does that feel to me? Like there's a lot going on. That's the thought. There's a lot going on. Can I do it all? I don't know. There's a wicked lot going on. Gives me a little bit of a stress, a little bit of a tightness in my chest. Notice the tightness in your chest. It's really near your lungs and your muscles here. So do the opposite. Maybe even just go like this. It's going to be okay. Pet yourself. Calm down, stretch out those muscles. But also while you do that, take 3 deep breaths. Deep ones. Go from overwhelm to down. That's like the little trick. That's like the little, as I like to say, embroider on a pillow. Go from over to down. The opposite of overwhelm is to chunk it down, is to breathe down deep into your lungs, to even move your hands down. Inhale. Everybody, even if you do this once, you're going to feel better. Then exhale. In with the good air. Out with the bad air. One more time, because 3 is a magic number. Inhale. Exhale. Sounds like a windstorm in here. What that does is gets literally your physical body feeling better, because you have given more oxygen to all of your cells, the cells in your brain, the cells in your lungs, the cells in your muscles. You have also slowed down how your body's moving. So this allows your brain and all of your things to get a little bit more regulated. Your brain and your nervous system get more regulated. When they are playing nicely together, when they feel a little bit better, a little bit more calmed down, overwhelmed to down, you breathe down, you slow down, you move your hands down, you calm down your nervous system, then I bet you're going to already feel less overwhelmed than when you were when you mentioned that. Notice I am also using a softer tone of voice. Notice I am also speaking slowly and with intention, because all of this, think about it, calming down a scared little kid, calming down a frightened pet, calming down yourself. You would calm them down. You say, it's okay. You got this. It's okay. You don't need to be overwhelmed. There's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a bunch of stuff in your house. When you calm down your overwhelmed nervous system that's all, it's too much. It's okay. It's okay. It's not too much. We can do this. This allows you to get in a better physical space and a better head space, mind frame, to go from overwhelm to doing something that you know is going to get you over it, less cluttered. Okay? So always, everybody, the number one tool in your toolkit is to overcome the overwhelm. Just think of what I say: over, opposite, down, all the downs. Calm down, slow down, chunk down. Any down you can think of is going to be better than that overwhelm, because you have control over the overwhelm. Okay? Then, once you feel better, somebody's saying how to start. Here's what I say, is when you are wondering how to start with the end in mind, like the 7 Habits guy says. I say, start with your destination. Why are you even doing the decluttering? Now, maybe it's me, and maybe it's a touch of my ADHD or my punk rock, DIY anarchist manifesto early life, but I don't want to do anything that I don't want to do, that I don't see the reason for it. If it doesn't make sense to me, I'm going to really not be too enthused. I'm going to drag my feet if it's not something I enjoy. So, what's your destination? Why are you even wanting to declutter? Is it because other people think you should? Is it because you think you're going to get in trouble because your house is a mess? How about this? You're doing it because you, one-on-one coaching right here, you, I bet, want a life that looks and feels and functions differently than it does now. Differently, aka better, not worse. Who won? We're not doing worse. We're doing better. I want my home to look better. I want a home that looks better, because when my home looks better, I feel better. When I'm not surrounded by so much stuff that clutters up my head, I'm surrounded by stuff that I look at and I don't, it doesn't do anything for me anymore. Get excited about what your destination looks like. Get excited about how your home could look. Project yourself out into the future. Pretend that room looks exactly how it looks. Paint a picture. Close your eyes. Calm down. Paint a picture in your mind of what that looks like. and what it would feel like to walk into your house when it looks and feels like that, and then write it down. We're not done with the downs yet. The downs are going to be the way you get things. Get it out of your head and onto paper. I am Gen X, so I say get it down, write it down, so there's this bodily connection between what you're thinking and making it happen. When you write it with a pen, if you're like me, you don't write as fast as you think. This will also allow your brain to slow down, because it has to slow down because it doesn't go as fast as your hand. So start. If you're wondering why you're not starting, maybe you're not excited about the end result. Maybe you're doing it because you have to, or you're doing it because it's unpleasant. Okay? I'm stuck on stuff. Okay? Then we talk about attachment. So you've got some stuff in your house. You know it's too much. Notice it's not just right. It's too much stuff. But you're stuck with it. And somebody says, Lisa, don't know how to efficiently organize. I offer. The organization comes later. The decision making comes first. What is this thing? I'm always picking up a random thing from my desk. What can I do today? Here, it's a, what do you call it? It's this coaster I got from a place that I loved, and I want to be reminded of it. What is this thing? Do I want it now in my life? I got it then. Do I want it now, or might I want it? Or do I want it? Does this add to that future look? Do I want it? If I want it, where does it go? If I don't want it, where does it go? Decision making. Look it up. Decision making. It is deciding on things and being intentional about what you keep in your house and what you release, so that every one of those little decisions adds up to getting you closer to how you want your home to look and feel. So you can organize your shit after you decide what you have left to do. You can't organize it first. You can categorize it. Categorizing is different than organizing. Organizing is saying, yes, this is the right amount of stuff. Now how do I put it somewhere where I can easily find it, where it looks good? Okay? GGX 2000, nice to see you. I'm stuck on getting rid of clothes I might need, so I do really nothing with that pile. Okay, so notice when you're in limbo, I might need it, I might not. You're not going one way or the other. So notice that, but then still do something with that category of I might need it someday. Put that stuff in storage. Don't do it saying I'm avoiding it, but you've made a decision. You have a category of stuff. I don't know, I might need this someday. Put it in storage and put a date stamp on it. Say, I put it away on this date, and I'm going to give myself whatever it is, 6 months till I think I'm going to use this again. Say, open this on, what today's day? February 3rd, November 3rd. So December 3rd, January, February, March, April, May. How about this? Give yourself 6 months. And say, if I haven't worn it in 6 months, if I haven't needed to wear it, and I get you totally if the seasons do not allow, but give yourself some time to see if you're using it or not. Test yourself and just give yourself the opportunity to be that person. Thank you, Judy Vetch. I appreciate that. Give yourself an opportunity to be that person who might use those things. If 6 months passes and you don't use it, ask yourself why. Maybe, I guess I don't need that as often as I want. Or maybe it's like, oh, now it's finally this season. Maybe I will use it. Touch base with yourself. But get the stuff you're not using out of circulation. Get it out of the spaces that you need to access to use the things that are on your daily cycles. Laundry and dishes and clothing and all the stuff that you need to find a home for, so that your surfaces don't look cluttered. Okay? Just notice that. Now, a couple of things, John and Joni have said emotional attachments. Okay, not wanting to forget or disrespect the loved ones that are gone. I get that. So this is where I say, to me, when I coach, this is 3 levels of clutter. Surface is one, stored is another. The third one you guys are talking about, sentimental. Right here, gets you in the feels. I'm attached to it. I have a story. I love that word, attached. I have a story attached to an item. Funny thing is I love playing with the opposites. Just think about this. If I have a story that's attached to this, like a barnacle, you guys watch that lobster guy who's always getting the barnacles off of the lobsters and giving them fish? So damn cute. You can pull that story away from the thing. This mug didn't come to me from the place that I ordered it with a story. It kind of did, because I made this mug. It says, just drive your life. It was to inspire me, and I've got ink over it, I just noticed. I can detach the story from the thing, possibly release the thing, but keep the story in here. What's a better way so you don't, if you have a fear, here's another one. Emotional attachments, when you are stuck, when you are holding on to things with an emotional attachment. Trust me, I am sentimental like nobody's business because I am a human. I am not a robot. Just get curious about the fear behind your clinging on to anything. Pretty much I can guarantee that if there's something that you are clinging on to, but part of you knows that you don't want it, there's a fear behind it. I'm afraid that, ... I'm afraid that I will forget the loved one if I get rid of this thing. I am afraid that if I get rid of this thing, it will be perceived as disrespect. I am afraid that if I get rid of it and it's perceived as disrespect, I'm going to get in trouble. Just notice that. The fear that keeps you hanging on to stuff that a part of you says, I don't want that stuff. But you've got up here saying, yeah, but whatever. It's a disconnect between these two. These two aren't playing nice. Your nervous system, your heart/nervous system, and your head are at odds. Should I stay or should I, should I stay or should I go now? It's like there's a clash. Okay, listen to me. I'm so Gen X. There is a clash between your nervous system, your heart, and your head when you're stuck, when you're wrestling with what to get rid of. Should I stay or should I go now? Part of you says it's a let go of it. You don't want it. The other part's like, no, fear. We're going to get in trouble. It's not going to be good. You're going to forget these people. What you do is you recognize the fear. You calm it down. You say, is that really true? Is there another way I could remember them? My dad's been gone 13 years. I don't have a lot of his stuff in the house. Occasionally I have little things that I liked, that I did want in my house. I never forget him. It's up here. It's in here. And it doesn't mean that you have to get rid of everything. All this black and white, this extreme dramatic language that the fear side of things offers up. No. Okay? Now, here's the funny thing. I realize as I'm saying this, when I'm talking about overwhelm and sentimental attachment, I've spent a lot of time on just these first few things, how to get started. Also, the loved one steps when it all needs to be moved out of an apartment. I don't know the situation, but notice that I spent so much time on overcoming the overwhelm, getting your destination going, and then noticing the thoughts that are keeping you stuck, and then saying, how can you rewrite those to you so you feel better, so you do better, and you can release those items. Right there, that right there is worth thousands of dollars of coaching. And I don't even charge thousands of dollars worth of coaching. So check out what I just gave you. If you just listened to that and you put that process to use, you would revolutionize your life in nobody's business. Now, as I was doing that, I spent a lot of time on that, and I haven't seen the other 51 messages that have just popped up, because that is the foundation. That is the basis. Those are the most powerful tools in your toolkit to go from stuck to started and to feel aligned with, I am doing this for the right reasons for me because I want to drive towards my destination decluttered, and it looks and feels and functions like I want it to. Okay? Notice that. All right, we get more messages. I'm going to flip to and I'm going to back up because sometimes they go up here. Okay? And here's what I want to offer too, because I just spent a number of minutes talking about overwhelm, but new people are coming up. Amanda says, I'm so overwhelmed with everything in my apartment. It's like we want to get, okay. I can even tell just by the way that you are writing this, that your brain is probably going, and your heart, I'm so overwhelmed with everything in my apartment, all the stuff, blah, blah, blah. Shh. Quiet down your nervous system. And I don't mean it in a mean way. Quiet down. I mean, shh, it's okay. Calm down your nervous system and notice the words that make you feel overwhelmed. Overwhelmed with everything. No, it may seem like everything, but there's some things you're not overwhelmed by. If it feels like you're overwhelmed with everything, notice the opposite of everything is something. Is how can I chunk this down so it feels more doable and more I can do this. I love it when I coach my one-on-one clients and they say, you know what? You're right. You know what this feels? This feels, motorboat, feels doable. Because when it feels like you can do it, you are more likely to do the thing. Okay? Notice that. Stop. You have control. Here's the thing I would love to say is you have control, more control than you think you do. You may think, oh, all of this is out of my control. Right up here, guess who's in charge of this? You. Nobody else is. Nobody else is living up here in the executive offices of this factory. You are the boss in this factory, right? And you can play nice with your workers. You can calm them down. It's going to be okay, you guys. We can do this. We've met that deadline before. We have done whatever that factory makes. We're going to create. This factory is designed to create a destination that you love. When the boss and the workers are in alignment, that's when you get the results you want. I love working with analogies and metaphors and things like that because it takes the drama out of it. Okay? It takes the drama out of it. And when you take the drama out of it, you just leach it out. It goes from brightly colored everything to black and white, grainy, drama. No, it's just a bunch of stuff. It's a bunch of stuff that's in your house that's just getting in your way of living a life you love. And it's a bunch of fears, things like that there. All right, what do we have here? Now I have backed up. Hopefully my connection is good right here. Okay, husband's working from home since COVID. If he's sitting, I can't make myself clean around him. Interesting. Maybe find another time when he's not working to clean or to tidy or work in other areas when he's there. Okay, Jackie says, I always is an overwhelmed word. I'm sure you don't do it every single frickin' time. If we were in a court of law, Perry Mason, I'd be like, is that really true? Is there an example of when you didn't second guess yourself? Because as soon as you find one example of the opposite of always, I'm sorry, that just doesn't hold up in court. I always second guess getting rid of something or worry, fear. I am afraid that if I get rid of that thing, I'm going to regret it. I am afraid that, Just notice that. Behind everything you're hanging on to is a fear that if you let go of it, something bad's going to happen. That's how we are wired as humans. Evolution has not caught up with the fact that change can be good and awesome and necessary to live a life you love. Just notice, everybody, even today, the things that you're hanging on to, say, what's the fear? What am I afraid will happen if I declutter that? Planting a seed, offering that as like something to think about. You can choose to think about it or not, or be like, yeah, whatever, lady. I don't want to do that. Let me go do something else. It's up to you. Okay. What do we say? Working on my basement, says Robin. It's amazing how much I once thought to keep is now donations or garbage. I love that. Notice how the definition of important to keep has now changed to the what's the word I want to use? The category of donations or garbage. You know what that happened? The stuff didn't change. The stuff is in your basement. The song remains the same. The stuff remains the same. You know what happened, Robin, and everybody? Something changed up here. You thought at one point in your past, this stuff is I want to keep. You have changed since then. You go and revisit this stuff and suddenly you discover the stuff that I thought that was important, the stuff that was important, is no longer as important as it was to me in the past. And that's okay. Notice that, and when you change, the stuff hasn't changed. The stuff remains the same. Your brain has changed, your life has changed. And that is a wonderful thing. Notice how when your brain changes, it's easier to release those things. Okay? Grace is saying, and I'm busting everybody on your overwhelm words. Okay? I have too much clothes. So too much doesn't feel good. Too much is above just right. It's the drowning area. Just right is when you're bopping along in the pool or in the ocean. Too much is when too much is here. So you have too much, but I love them all. Do you really love them all? Love, Dottie? Get curious about that. I bet if you looked at your clothes and said, do I love this? Or do I like it? Or this is useful? Or even if I do I have too much of a quantity? You could categorize your clothes between, like, when we used to do those things, like the little folding paper things, like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then you would unfold the thing. It's like, I like you. I mean, I really like you. Well, I kind of like you. I don't like you at all. Like one of those like little friendship origami things. Grace, I bet if you went through your closet today and just out of curiosity and play, because that's how I approach it, I'm just curious. I'm going to go in here and say, which ones do I really freaking love? Like, oh my gosh, I love that. Touch the things you love and notice how that makes you feel. Touch something you don't love and notice how that makes you feel. Notice the difference between the two and get used to that vibe, that energy in your nervous system when the love happens. Because the opposite of fear, notice I was playing with opposites, the opposite of fear is love. You want to be surrounded by just the right amount, not too much, just the right amount of things that you love. And you can love it even if it's like a spatula. You can say, you know what, this spatula really turns the things well. Don't hang on to the stuff that doesn't give you that vibe. Pay attention, know the difference. Start to get in touch with, by touching your stuff and say, what does this make me feel? What does it make me think and feel? Even better yet, start with just the feeling, because if you didn't have the thoughts, if you couldn't articulate it, things would give you a vibe. Honor your humanness and trust your gut and your soul and all the things to help you decide what you really want in your life versus what your brain might be telling you and chattering around, Again, there's a clash between the two when it's difficult to do these things. All right? What else do we have here? Okay, Judy is saying, my husband has passed and there is so much stuff. Now talk about sentimental stuff. Allow yourself to grieve. Allow yourself the space and the time and the, whatever it takes for you to feel better, slightly better about this sad situation. Give yourself that space. There's no timeline for that. But what I want to suggest is you will get an inkling of when it feels okay that you can maybe dip your toe into the decluttering of your husband's items. Don't do it before you're ready. You're just going to open up the wound that hasn't healed a little bit. But start with baby steps. Start even like I recommend with all cluttering. The surface stuff, the stuff that really wasn't, something that wasn't sentimental, something that didn't really have a connection. Maybe it's just, some work shoes or something. Whatever it is that doesn't give you that emotional charge, start with that. And then allow your nervous system to regulate, to recalibrate, to balance out, to say, oh, you know what? I feel okay. Now that some of that stuff is gone, I feel okay. So that the next time you do it, your nervous system is like, all right, you know what? The last time it wasn't that bad. This time won't be that bad. I'm just going to pay attention. Baby steps. Okay? Notice that. Okay? The real Teresa, it's hard for me to read sometimes when somebody's saying, I'm stuck on my grown kids might need. Here's a great thing. Your kids are grown. Ask them if they want it. Ambiguity. Overwhelm and too much stuff thrives in ambiguity and not knowing. If you don't know if they want it or not, how can you find out? What's the opposite of not knowing if they want it? Is finding out if they want it or not. Ask them if they want it, and then please, oh please, trust them to make a decision that aligns with what their lives are being. Think of how different your life would be if when somebody said to you, do you want this? And there was no strings attached and there was no guilt and it was safe in your nervous system to speak your truth, which was, no, I don't want that. Think about the power you would have right now in your body and in your life if you practiced that for the last many decades. This doesn't fit in my life. I'm going to trust, regardless of what this says up here, I'm going to trust that doesn't fit with what I want, and I'm going to allow it to let go. I'm going to put up some boundaries, and with love and no judgment, nothing bad is going to happen if I say no to that. Think of how different your life would be now. And not just your clutter, but other ways. Just think about that. You can start that now. It's never too late to say, guess what? I may have done that in the past. I may have been. Somebody on an earlier TikTok live said, I feel like the family dumping ground. I'm always where the hand-me-downs go. You could stop that today. The next time somebody comes up and says, hey, I'm used to giving you the leftovers, you can say, hey, you know what? Thank you. Thank you very much for thinking of me, but no. No. Boundaries are good things. If you accept that stuff, it's going to make your house look and feel and function like you don't want it to. So you're starting today to put up your little traffic cop hand. Quiet down. Notice all this, even the benevolence and all the good, I'm sure like the art history lady that I watch all the time, Seema, I'm sure she could do like a TikTok about like how the hand gestures in religious paintings probably help to calm your nervous system. I don't know, just riffing here. But notice. Melissa is saying, I've got decision paralysis. Okay, paralysis. I'm stuck. I'm frozen. You know what the opposite of stuck and frozen is? Moving around. Move your body. Get out of that thought analysis paralysis. Walk away from it. Come back. Do some dancing. Move your body and say, you know what? What would I rather feel? What would I rather feel? Do I want that thing in my life or not? Boom. See if that changes it up. Practice getting out of paralysis. Practice getting yourself out of the situations that are keeping you stuck. You can do this. I love it. Okay. All right. Linda's saying I need to do it. How about this? How about I want to do it? I want to do this decluttering because when I'm done, my home is going to look better and I'm going to feel better. I'm going to feel accomplishment. I did something good. How about this? Not I need to do this, I have to do this. I want to do it. How about I get to do this? I am so freaking lucky. I have too much stuff in my life. Too much is too much. It's not just right. It's not lack. It's not enough. It's like Goldilocks. It's not too little. It's not just right. It's too much. And too much is not making you feel good. But you still have it. You can still get rid of all the stuff that's under the too much. And you can be fine with your version of just right. Okay? There we go. Julie McIntyre is saying, I went through a closet and got rid of blankets and pillows and then took up a lot of room and found homeless. I love it. Okay, somebody's got a 1 year time frame. Rock on. You do what feels right to you. How do you store keepsakes that my kids made me? Decide if you want to store them or not. Do you need to keep all the keepsakes? Are you setting it up to make it? Do you have a story in your head that if I get rid of this keepsake, it's going to mean I don't love my kids? Am I setting it up with they are going to feel bad if I get rid of it? Maybe you can change this up here about what it means to make things and you save some and you don't save others. Containerize it. Maybe you say, okay, I've got this one plastic tote that's of a certain size, and I will keep enough stuff that fills that tote. Once that tote is filled, notice I'm saying chunking it down to a space. Once that tote is filled, nothing else can come in it unless something goes out. Notice that. Okay. What else do we have? Yep, there we go. Melissa, no worries about the typos. This is why, here's a funny thing. Let me give a shout out to signing up for the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. Now, it's free. It's wicked simple. You literally just put your email address in at destinationdecluttered.com and say, I am not a robot. You get an automatic email that gives a habit tracker on it, which is very handy, especially at the beginning of the month. But I say that because when Melissa is saying the typos, I don't type well on my phone at all. I'm totally old school. But what I will say is when you're on the Destination Decluttered, like mailing list, member thing, whatever I want to call it, you get invited to a monthly Zoom call. Now, the monthly Zoom call is cool because it's literally about 1/10 of the amount of people that show up on a TikTok live. So there's more opportunity for interaction, direct interaction with me and other people who have good ideas and can support and offer advice. It's like a nice little community. But I say that because on Zoom, we put our cameras on and we don't have to type, we just talk. And that way you can get so much quicker to the crux of what's going on than if you were typing back and forth. That's why when I do my one-on-one coaching, I only coach on Zoom. Can you imagine how long it would take if we were typing back and forth? No, I want to get there. I want to get you to where you want to go to as quickly as possible. Okay? So just notice that. Um, all right, where we go? All sorts of things. All right, so notice that everybody's saying like there is okay, yeah. So there's different things. Like some people are saying, don't make your family members say no, thank you for the same multiple times. Notice how it feels when somebody doesn't listen to you. I know that feeling. I will say this in complete sincerity. One of the things that freaking blew me away when I first met my now husband of 21 years is that I had said things about, when we were out shopping or at a thrift store, or we were at like literally like a pawn shop in like Georgetown, Delaware. We were talking about this the other day. And I was like, oh man, this thing is so cool, but it costs too much and yada yada. The first birthday of mine that we celebrated when we were together, holy frickamole, if that boy did not show up with stuff that he had heard me talk about. Now, I wasn't listening. I was not used to being paid attention to listen to. So I was like, yeah, whatever. I'm going to say all this. Like, I'm just saying this stuff, but I don't expect it. Man, what a difference when somebody listens to you, hears you, you feel seen, as they say in the biz, and then you act accordingly. So how about this? Scrap the don't, reverse it. Allow yourself to take no for an answer and be cool with it. If you offer something to somebody and they say no, be cool with it. But also be cool with the no of you saying, I don't want that in my life, and it's not judgy. It's standing up for you. It's paying attention to you and what's important. You're listening to yourself and saying, I don't want that. It's brown and it's colonial. I don't want it in my mid-century modern funky Pee Wee Herman house. No, it doesn't mean you don't love them. You just don't want the stuff. Okay? Notice that. All right, what do we have? What about creating homes for things? I struggle with necessary items like current crafts. Okay, simply energy. Notice that can be a math problem. You have certain square inches of storage space for your craft things, and maybe it's not enough for the quantity of craft things. Maybe you need to balance it out. And what I will offer, and this is what I do when I'm coaching, before going out to increase the space in which to keep things, before you do that, you can still do it. You still may need to do it. But before that, this is what I talk about when I'm coaching. This is another one of those like embroidered on a pillow moments, or little pearl of wisdom. If we were building like a pearl necklace, a little pearl of wisdom on your necklace. You gotta sort it before you store it. Like if I was in an auditorium with 10,000 people, I'd be like, you gotta store it, or you gotta sort it. And you'd all be, before you store it. And we'd all laugh because it's so true. You don't know how much space storage you need until you really get down to what you really need. What can be let go of. Now, you may sort through your stuff and say, yes, I want all this stuff. Good. You have information. You are now making a decision about what more increasing the square inches of your storage based on the square inches of what you have to store, as opposed to buying a lot of stuff and saying, oh, I'll figure it out later. The sorting and the decision making is the part of this thing that people resist like nobody's business. And it's the best part of it. Because when you decide that, when you make a decision, you are checking in with yourself. Motorboat. You are checking in with yourself to say, is this important to me or not? And the answer can be yes or no. It just needs to feel right to you. Okay. Gossamer Wings, speaking of crafts, says, struggle with letting go of items I could DIY, craft, or repurpose. Let me ask you this, as somebody who thought I was going to be crafty, but I just didn't have the time, or I just didn't have the space, or whatever. Why aren't you crafting with that stuff now? See, this is the thing about doing the TikTok lives. You can't answer me immediately. If we were on the Destination Decluttered monthly Zoom, which is happening not next week, the week after, before Thanksgiving, and it happens every month, we would be able to have a little bit of back and forth. Get curious why you're not using the things you say you want to use. Just get curious about it. Do not judge yourself. Judgment. Notice how I said the opposites of stuff? Okay, so here's a perfect opportunity for me to share this other awesome tool, like opposite land, okay? Imagine this. When I'm working with my clients and we have our workbooks, yeah, seriously, it is like a 50-cent notebook from Staples. There is such power in making it not making it low budget, DIY, disposable. You can't F it up. It's not like, oh my God, I got this $30 notebook and suddenly I messed it up. I'm a failure. No, 50-cent crappy notebook that you tear pages out of, you write down things into. When we work in our notebooks, our workbooks, because when you use it, it works, you would fold a piece of paper in half to create 2 columns. I used to do this reference, but not everybody got it, which was like, be like a steno pad. I'm old school, so I know these things. So I just say, make 2 columns. Those 2 columns align with, pretend those 2 columns are in your body. On the one column, you have unhelpful thoughts, and you know they're unhelpful thoughts for a couple reasons. When you have an unhelpful thought, that thought makes you feel crappy in your body, in your heart, in your nervous system. And when you have an unhelpful thought in your head that feels crappy in your heart and in your nervous system and your body, you are more likely to do something less than helpful with your hands. Hanging on to stuff you don't want, not decluttering, whatever. Guilt and judgment and fear are all clues that it is an unhelpful thought because it's keeping you stuck. On the other hand, on the other side here is a more helpful thought. You know what a more helpful thought is? You know how you find out if it's a more helpful thought? Because instead of feeling crappy in your body and in your heart and in your nervous system, you feel that tingle of possibility, like, oh, hey, you know what? That would be kind of cool. Hey, that could be fun. Wouldn't it be neat? All right, all of a sudden, look at how I'm talking. All right, that sounds kind of fun. When these two are playing nice, man, you're going everywhere. You know what you do? Then your hands are more likely to get out of your head and into the world and taking action. Get out of my dreams and into my car, Billy Ocean. Get out of your head and start taking action, but not just action for action's sake. Take what I like to call, because I'm a fan of alliterations, but only ones that make sense to me. Aligned action. Aligned action. Action that is aligned with what I do is going to get me closer to where I want to go. It's not just like, oh, I guess I'll try doing this thing, blah, blah, blah. It's with intention. You say, I know that if I spend 20 minutes on my kitchen counter today, at the end of 20 minutes, my kitchen counter is going to look and feel better than it did when I started. And my kitchen counter looking better than it started is making me feel better. Notice that. Head, heart, hands. Thought in your head makes you feel a certain way in your heart. You do something with your hands. Notice when it is an unhelpful thought. Stop that stuff. Flip it, reverse it. On the flip side, what's a more helpful thought that you can create from your unhelpful thought? And that's what coaching helps you do. I help you practice these things that you've maybe never done before. Because I do it all the time, both in coaching and in my own life. And man, I was talking to a client today about my breeze blocking way of getting my stuff done during the day that I love. I hate being fenced in. If anything feels too restrictive, I say, F you. What is that thing with Gillian Anderson, who said, a Gillian girl. Boy, that's a deep cut brain. If somebody tells me to do something, my initial reaction is like, F you, But what I say when there's something in it for me, if I see why doing this is going to benefit me, getting me to my result, I'm going to be more likely to do it. Okay? Notice this. Boop-a-doop-a-doo. Okay, Melissa is saying, I am amazing. You know what, Melissa, you're amazing too. We're all amazing. Can you imagine if we just walked around and said, I'm pretty cool. I'm kind of digging this, okay? You're pretty amazing because you showed up for this and you dared to ask a question, okay? I tried to ask my husband to declutter some cups. He wasn't having it. I get it. Have you ever tried to change something in yourself? The answer is yes. How easy is it to change yourself? And you're the one who's in this skin suit 24/7. It's not easy to change yourself. It's not impossible, and it's not as difficult as you may think. But however challenging it is to change yourself, it is even more challenging to change somebody else. So don't necessarily try to change them. Change yourself first, and then see how that works out. So are there things, Melissa, instead of the cups that you're saying to your husband, deal with these, what things around the house are kind of under your purview? What are your things that you could practice decluttering, and you could just show up and model the example of decluttering and how good it feels when you have the right amount of stuff for you. You don't have too much, you don't have too little, it's just right. Okay? Just notice that. Change yourself first for the better, and then that can have a positive ripple effect on the other people in your life. And even if it doesn't, you will feel better about yourself. And so maybe those cups won't be such a big deal. Notice that. Dana Reynolds is saying, I need motivation. All right. Why do you want to do it? How do you want your life to be? How do you want your home to look and feel and function? Get that out of your head. Out of your head, dump it down. Earlier in the thing, we talked about overwhelm and all the downs. Dump down your thoughts onto paper. Write it down onto paper. And then it's going to be more likely for you to make it happen. And unless the reason you're doing it sparks a little effervescence of excitement and possibility and sparkly sparkles in you, then ask yourself why you're doing it. Your motivation has to come within. External motivation, like external is going to be, you're going to get in trouble if you don't do it. What if you do it? How beneficial will this be to your life? How much better will you freaking feel if you do this? And the great thing is, people, I'm just saying, it's not as difficult as our brains want us to think. Sure, there's going to be some rocky moments on the road, but there's going to be a hell of a lot of, oh, this isn't so bad. And then you turn around and you have a home, you have a room that looks good, and you say, I want other rooms in my home to feel like this. And everywhere I look, I want to feel delighted. And so I do that, and then I say what irks me here. I notice what irks me. I love this. I have a coaching client that loves when I say, you know what irks me? Because she's like, yeah, I find what irks me, and then I have the power to change that. So when I look in that corner of the room, it doesn't bug me anymore. And I want to look through my home, and no matter where I look, nothing bugs me. And if something bugs me, I'll solve it. Okay? You can do this. You can transform your home into something that looks better to you, feels better to you, functions better to you. And then this is just a practice run of learning how to do the same thing with the rest of your life. There we go. Do because of peace of mind and to stop my husband fussing. Yeah, peace in the house. That's nice. Noticing that. There we go. Just for me and mine says modeling is helpful. I noticed that when I organize my bathroom, my husband cleans his nightstand. Notice that. Yeah, stopping my husband from fussing. I love the shelf behind you. It makes each item feel special. You know why? Because I decided what I wanted and what I didn't. Do I want this? Do I not? I decided how I wanted it to look. I decided that I didn't want these things to be as cluttered as they used to be. I actually have a picture. I will post it. So I will figure out how to post it on TikTok. I wish I could show it to you now. Of what these shelves used to look like before I was doing TikToks and before I kind of got through a lot of my clutter. They were wicked cluttered, and I said, I don't want to look at that. It makes me feel all jumbly. Okay, you can do the same thing with you. Gossamer Wing says, I love your Gen X pop culture references. Thank you. This is how I coach. This is how I show up in everyday work. I do not turn into somebody different when I'm on a coaching call. I endeavor to always be myself because it's the only thing I know how to do. And when I feel like I'm being somebody else, people can smell that. I remember back when I thought I might want to become a coach, I said, who do I want to work with? And literally, I remember saying to this woman who we were working together at the time, kind of like as a mastermind, I said to her, and she was like decades younger than me, I was like, oh my God, I got to share with you. I seriously want to work with people who get where I'm coming from, that get my jokes, who are saying, oh, I know what you're saying. That makes sense to me now that you say it in that song lyric or whatever. It's the way my brain works and processes things that helps me do the things I want to do. Okay? Couple more things because we only got 6 minutes. I see some questions popping up and I'm going to endeavor to answer them. But before I do that, I want to set you up with additional steps that can help you, additional resources for Destination Decluttered. So one is, if you haven't followed my TikTok page, following my TikTok page is the number one way to get notified when I'm live, to get notified when I post videos, things like that there. The next level is then hopping on the Destination Decluttered email mailing list. It is free, it is low key, it is genuine. Every email comes directly from me, not some bot, or AI thingamajigger. And all I do is send you the good stuff. I like to give you what I call first dibs. So what does that mean? It's like you find out before everybody else when a TikTok live is happening. You will find out if I'm thinking of doing a pop-up TikTok live that may take other people by surprise. You will know to look for it, and you can decide whether you want to show up. The other thing is the once a month group Zoom that we do. As I said, it's a nice little, you just get the invite when you sign up for the mailing list. And the other thing too is with the one-on-one coaching that I do. I would be remiss if I did not tell you that I am a one-on-one decluttering life coach. I work in a 10-session package. It is 1 hour on Zoom. It can be once a week for 10 weeks. We can modify it to fit around your schedule. We do have to modify it around my schedule because I travel sometimes, so sometimes available, sometimes I'm not, i.e. Thanksgiving week, I'm going to be on the road, different things like that. But I work with you as a human, not as a robot that it needs to be 10 weeks, and if it doesn't work, no. We figure that shit out. You get first dibs on the email mailing list at destinationdecluttered.com/join to get the first dibs on the coaching consultations, to get a consultation, which again is just a conversation that you tell me what's bugging you, and I say here's how coaching can help, and we decide if we want to work together. As easy as that. Okay? Notice that. The other thing too was the reason when I'm going through these questions and I read them out loud, even though you may see them going through, is because I take these TikTok lives when they're done, I download them from TikTok, and then I upload them to Destination Decluttered at YouTube. I do that because many people have said that they really like to listen to them as a podcast. I don't have a podcast, but I joke that all you need to do is just put one of these on in the background and walk around. You don't have to look at the screen while I'm doing these things. So I mention the questions so that when you are listening, you're not missing anything. Like, oh, what did I miss on the screen? All right? Notice that. All right? Here's the thing. This is a really good point. Eli Lopez is saying, can I gift your decluttering package to someone who needs it badly? That is a lovely thought. Ask them if they want it. Would they like help with their clutter? Maybe help that's not somebody who knows them and knows all the story behind things, who's not going to show up and judge them, who's a professional. Ask them if they want that, and if they say yes, of course you can do that. Here's a fun thing too. I'm gonna mention this because I think this is really cool. So I do coach couples. Now, so far they have been basically, married couples, partnerships, whatever. Because to me, when two people are living in a place, or people are living in a place and they want the place to look and feel different, the more people that can get in on that, the better, if it works out with schedules and things. But here's a seed I want to plant because I think this could be really cool. Now, let's say, for giggles, I want to help my mother with her decluttering. And she's like, I don't know, blah, blah, blah. Instead of giving her the decluttering coaching, you could work on it together. How about the both of you show up for the declutter coaching? The neat thing is it's on Zoom, so you can be in the same room, or you can not be in the same room. Wherever you are, wherever that person is, or you can be in the same room. Whatever works. But then you're learning how to declutter. You're learning what's up with them, and they don't feel so alone in it. I just want to offer, I think that's really cool. And when I do that, that would be the same price as if it was just you and me or just you and them. When I show up, it's for that hour of coaching, and it doesn't matter to me how many people show up. Unless we get into a group situation, that's different. But if it's a pair of people, just think about, maybe they might not want it, but you say, what if I do it with you? Would that help? Would you like to? Could you maybe do it for me? But honestly, here's the thing too, is sometimes people are so set in their ways. They have so much fear of change. It gives them comfort to be surrounded by their stuff. They may not want to change. What I want to offer to you then is maybe the coaching would benefit you. Maybe the coaching, and again, this is me showing up as a one-on-one coach to say, you learning to deal with your own clutter, but you also having a plan in place for when that clutter might affect your life. How can you learn to think and feel differently about their situation so you're not judging it and it's not busting you up? Can you love them while they live in a cluttered lifestyle? So notice how it can benefit you to get into it together, to gift it to them. Of course, literally, I just signed a client yesterday, and a couple of, and she said, I asked my husband what he wants for Christmas, and he says, all I want is that room to be decluttered. Look it. It's like this is helping somebody else to do it when you show up to do it. Okay, how to sign up? Sure. So two things is my website, destinationdecluttered.com. Two things you can do. If you want to get on the mailing list, which I highly recommend, even if you want to do a consultation, destinationdecluttered.com/join, get on my mailing list. You get first dibs on when there are coaching consultations. However, there are coaching consultations available right now on the calendar that you sign up for an hour-long Zoom call with me. It's free, it's low pressure, it's just like this, it's a one-on-one. You tell me what's bugging you. I tell you if about coaching and how that could help you. We talk about, the logistics, the price, how long, when can you show up, yada, yada. We resolve all those things to get you the help you need to get to where you want to go. And that's at destinationdecluttered.com/join, or just when you're on my website, look for the big orange buttons that say schedule your consultation. And that's about as infomercially as I'm going to get about this stuff because it's 11:01 and I've got stuff to do. But I want to offer to you all, just think about your destination. Start with the end in mind. If your home isn't looking like you want it to, if you aren't feeling like you want to feel when you're in your home and in your life, and if neither of those are functioning the way you want it to, I bet you anything, Destination Decluttered, decluttering coaching can help. Destination Decluttered. So follow me here on TikTok. Show up for another TikTok live. I'm going to be doing some more next week. Guess who's going to find out about those first? It's going to be the people on the mailing list. Get a consultation if you feel like what I do can help you. How I do it, how I explain things. I'm showing up in a totally from love, curiosity, non-judgmental, Gen X pop culture, auntie, best friend. I'm like your co-pilot on this awesome road trip. I just am here to help you get to where you want to go to the quickest and the easiest way to do it. And also so that when I step out of the car, you have a toolkit that you can use for the rest of your life to not only get decluttered, but you stay that way and you use these tools to create a life you love. Okay, so just notice that. I see some people signing up on the mailing list. That's great. I'm going to sign off now. You have an awesome day. If you're on the Destination Decluttered mailing list, look for an email today, tonight, tomorrow. Just saying, okay? Have an awesome day, y'all, and I will talk to you soon, okay?